Justin Cristelli. Fabulous secrets were revealed to me the day I held up my Mystery Science Theater 3000 mug and shouted the words, "For the honor of opinions." I have opinions! I'm back with a She-Ra Season 2 review. Now, I was going to do one a couple months ago when this came out. Admittedly, it's been a minute. I was going to do it in a podcast style with Sid Part 2 like I did the first time, and we have not been able to get our schedules together correct. So I'm doing it like I'm doing it right now. Hopefully with Season 3, we'll be able to get back together and do a thorough discussion, like a spoiler cast again. After a couple months, hopefully you've seen the show. If not, you should probably check it out before you watch this review, because there are going to be some spoilers discussed. And before I get started, this review is brought to you by the Red Knight Relaunch, which is my book. My comic book series is finally back after a couple years hiatus, and it's in full color. We're going to hopefully do the series in a quarterly fashion, so you can actually get the books much quicker. And it all starts here at the Kickstarter listed below. See if you can support it if you can. If you can't, or if you're not, if you see somebody might want to support it, share it with them, or do both. Actually, share and support. These are great ideas. All right, let's talk about She-Ra Season 2, shall we? Now, Season 1 ended with essentially our protagonist and antagonist kind of getting what they wanted. They found their paths. They unfortunately split, but they've been kind of like in a good place. She-Ra's built like the Princesses of Power, and Catra has replaced Shadow Weaver and is now the second in charge. Not bad. Okay, where do we go from there? And this season, I think, very quickly goes into those, and we watch the kind of like building and climbing of She-Ra trying to figure out, how to use her powers correctly. I mean, sometimes her shape-shifting sword doesn't do what she wants it to do. She can't. There's some powers that she kind of instinctively knows how to do, but can't really do them the way she wants to. The typical kind of like hero and trading stuff. Also trying to figure out how to find that happy place in working with her like teammates and Swiftwind, and all the while she is like dealing with the pressure of screwing up, like Mara, the last She-Ra, who apparently did a big bad thing when she kind of lost it, and she's quietly terrified of doing the same thing while she's trying to adapt into non-horde, non-fright zone society. Catra, on the other hand, is feeling pretty good. I mean, she's thrown Shadow Weaver, her really bad mother, in jail, and she's second in charge. But that starts to unravel very quickly when Entrapta gets close to Hordak in the fact that she really respects all the technology he's doing, and he likewise respects her abilities to understand that technology better than he does. And she is very excited about the possibilities that he's presenting, because alien races on this world is unknown. Like, it's just as much... It's really interesting. This is kind of like a space fantasy epic series, but they don't have any like interactions with aliens either. So using alien technology to her is like mind-blowing. This is pushing Catra out of the way, who has been having like failure after failure since taking over the second spot, because she just can't finish taking the Whispering Woods. She can't take down these princesses. So you see her slowly lose grip. And of course, the whole Shadow Weaver thing is a big problem. We'll get to that as well. Let's see. The series actually has some really it's a short season. It's 7 episodes, and I know that's not from the creators' vantage point. That's more of a Netflix thing where they're splitting up seasons, which I understand. You get more. You get to these seasons quicker than you would have ordinarily. So, I mean, we're about less than a month or two. I think August, we're going to get season 3, which is only a couple months after season 2. So that's not too bad. But you have to deal with the fact of having short seasons. I assume season 4 will probably be longer. That would be nice. But anyway, this season we had like the Frozen Forest, which was the episode of the team kind of trying to figure out how to work together again. The Ties That Bind. Let's see, Signals, Roll With It, Whiteout, Light Spinner, and Reunion. And I gotta say, Roll With It is probably... it's probably not the most important episode of the season, but it's definitely my favorite because there's a lot of good humor in it. It essentially She-Ra and the Princess of Power are trying to figure out how to infiltrate and take over a base that the Horde has been occupying. And it's the strategy meeting they have is very much like a Dungeons and Dragons game. And all the humor that implies. It's very good. And also, it takes a minute to acknowledge the past where Bo has a strategy session where he imagines everybody kind of dressed in the 80s designs, including Catra, which looks amazing. And also, there's so many bad puns in that, which I don't know if you watched the old show, but they did jokes very much like that. And hearing Catra, let's see, I can't remember Michaela playing the old version of Catra with the bad puns and the purring. It was very funny. It was very good. Probably the most important episode, I'd probably say, is the Light Spinner episode, where we spend the entire episode flashback with... Not entire episode is flashback, but we flashback a lot with Shadow Weaver when she was Light Spinner. And we see her descent as a result of Hordak attacking and her quest for power to fight Hordak. Ironically, once she gets that power, she joins Hordak. And man, this episode's really strong to me because it has this parallel going back and forth between her relationship with Catra and her relationship with Glimmer's dad, who was her pupil. And even like on top of that, we get to see the fact that, you know, Catra and Shadow Weaver have kind of a bit in common. And oh boy, that's a strong episode. And of course, that episode ends with her escaping, and that picks up the next episode. Mostly, the last episode, Reunion, is mostly a funny episode and a heartwarming episode because we finally get to meet Bo's dads, and they haven't known that he's been part of the Resistance Rebellion, and they think he's just away at college. And it's kind of a funny, like a funny metaphor of keeping who you are a secret to your parents because you're afraid they'll be ashamed of you. And yeah, that's obviously a LGBT metaphor, and of course, you know, ironically, with a same-sex couple as parents. So, because that kind of thing doesn't seem to exist in this world. So, I don't know, his kind of coming out to them was a really sweet episode. I really like those characters, and his dads are named after... one of them is named George, after the original Bo voice actor, which is a nice touch. And the other one's named Lance. Well, yeah, Bo Lance. Makes sense. And then that episode ends on a very creepy note. I won't even really give away that, because I really enjoyed how this particular episode, and therefore the season ends. Although, of course, the creators weren't meaning to end the season this way, but man, if you're going to end it, that's the note right there. I'm going to just go under like pros. I've already talked about the nice build story. The humor is great. The action, I thought, was very strong in this one. the fight scenes in particular, like the first fight scene between She-Ra and Catra, even though it was a holographic Catra, that fight scene was really cool. And Trapped is revealed. Trapped is early on in the season. Bo figures out, because he's under pressure to be the tech guy now that Trapped is gone. They think she's dead, and he very quickly figures out that, oh no, she's not dead. Holy crap, we left her behind in the fright zone. We got to go get her. And then there's that heartbreaking moment where Glimmer and Bo realize that no, she's turned on them and doesn't care. And you know what? Entrapped is adorable and really fun character, but she has some comeuppance coming. I mean, because she's just joined these guys because they will give her the tech that she needs, and she does not care how it affects people. Even when they tell her to her face, hey, because she'll tell them, like, hey, I can do this thing. Oh, great. Can the thing be used as a weapon? Well, yeah, I mean, technically you could. Well, great. And she does not care. She doesn't care how it affects her friends. She's watching these robots attack her friends, and she's just interested in how well they do. Yeah, you know what? She's got something coming. We'll see about that. That heartbreak with Glimmer, though, was just really strong. And one of my favorite moments is when she's been dealing with Catra all throughout that episode, and then Catra, like, reveals to her that Entrapped has been on their side the whole time, and Bo walks her away for a minute, and she turns around and just beats the shit out of her. It's great. That was really... That felt honest. That felt like a real honest explosion of emotion. That was really cool. Let's see, and of course I mentioned... Let's see, where we're going from pros. I already mentioned the acting. Oh, Scorpia and Catra. That relationship is really interesting. I know a lot of focus on Adora and Catra, but the Scorpia and Catra relationship is interesting because Scorpia seriously is in love with Catra, and they have almost a comedic, old school comedy team relationship. It almost feels like Yzma and Krunk. Because like Catra deals with so much trauma, and then when she's with like Scorpia, she's suddenly Yzma. And Scorpia is really interesting. She almost comes off like a Bob's Burgers secondary character. Like, you know, she has that kind of weird, honest dumbness that isn't forced or contrived, and it's really kind of adorable. Even though she is an evil henchman, and she tries to kill our heroes like all the time, but there's just something really kind of captivating about her. And of course, I didn't really talk too much about Hordak. Hordak is really great in this. I know there was a complaint that he was barely on screen a lot during the first season, but he essentially off camera was affecting the whole plot of the show through his actions. And I suspected as the show would go on, we would see more of him. And just the 7 episodes, we saw a lot of him. And he's really menacing and cool. And I gotta tell you, like, he's one of my favorite upgrades from the previous version of the show back in the 80s, because he was not cool and menacing in the first one. That snort laughing, not cool. When you want your villain to be intimidating, making him laugh like a Lily Tomlin character is not really a good idea. So he is great in this. And yeah, like I said, some of my nitpicks are the shorter season, because it does make the end of the season feel a little rushed. But I mean, knowing what I know about the way Netflix works, that's pretty understandable. So yeah, all in all, I really enjoyed this season. It's not as strong as the first one, but that's to be expected. I think it progresses the story pretty well, and I imagine the things that have started in this season will be really played upon in season 3. That's what I'm expecting. So I'm going to definitely give it 4 out of 5 Ram Chips. Thoroughly enjoyed it. If you like the first season of She-Ra, I think you'll be pretty cool with season 2. All right, hey, what did you think of She-Ra season 1 and 2? You can leave a comment below. You can like and subscribe and click the notification bell, because that's what all YouTube cares about. And don't forget, Red Knight Relaunch. Kickstarter is live right now. I really appreciate your help. All right, so I think that's it. Push the button and say.
Bye.